Good evening. This is the Sibeh show. I'm Sing Chi. It is day 8 of campaigning. We are almost there. So I'm still here in bed with you. So before I get on with the show proper, here's a message to all potential sponsors. This could be you for just I don't know how much a rate card, but you can just email sales@mothership.sg, okay? Anyway, let me have a drink first. So if you have been a loyal fan of the Sibeh show, which I know you are, you will know that last night we shared something about PM Lee's lunchtime Fullerton rally. So at his rally yesterday, right, he said that this GE is about getting through COVID-19. He also asked voters to give the PAP a very strong mandate so that they can handle COVID-19 effectively. And today, at a doorstop interview at Sengkang, Workers' Party strong mandate to deal with COVID-19 is a false choice. Here's what she said.
Yes, hi everyone. Yesterday PM Lee gave an e-rally at Fullerton, and of course he made several points. One of the points I think which he wishes voters to consider is the fact that he's asking for all voters nationwide to give him and his party a very strong mandate so that they can handle COVID-19 effectively. Now, I think this is a false choice being presented to voters, and if you look at what's been happening around the world, you will see that there are actually many examples of countries that have been dealing quite effectively with the virus, who are robust democracies. I mean, we just have to take a look at Taiwan, New Zealand. In New Zealand, in fact, the Prime Minister, her own party doesn't even have a majority of the MPs in the parliament. And the fact is that Singaporeans know that when there is a need to come together, they will. And they will support the government in handling the COVID-19 crisis, regardless of who they vote into parliament. So I would like to emphasize again that our view is that the PM is actually giving voters a false choice, that there is actually no reason why the government will not be effective in tackling COVID-19, and at the same time with a parliament which does not consist of only elected PAP MPs.
Okay, moving online. As usual, it's another day of constituency political broadcast. Speaking today were candidates for Pioneer SMC, Potong Pasir SMC, Punggol West SMC, Radin Mas SMC, Sembawang GRC, and Sengkang GRC. In today's broadcast, RP's Radin Mas SMC candidate Kumar Apavu did not turn up, and because it's an SMC, after PAP's Melvin Yong gave his speech, no one was there to represent Reform Party for Radin Mas. Instead, a note from the broadcaster was shown on screen. Yep. Oh yeah, another SMC which had its constituency broadcast tonight was Pioneer SMC. It will be a three-corner fight, and it will be in one corner is I think it's an independent candidate, Chiang Ping Wah. You know the guy with the horse logo? Yeah, that one. Here's what he said.
From a backwater, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew brought us from there to here. Mr. Koh Shao Tong and Lee Hsien Loong moved us from here and there. In between, they get stuck due to blindsided bugs and groupthink viruses. What we need is for Singapore to grow from strength to strength, not stuck here and there. When he felt something was going on wrong, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew promised to get up. He wasn't making an empty promise, because what he wanted is for Singaporeans to stand up when things go astray. You can listen to the opposition for all the mistakes the PAP government committed over the decades. The time to stand up is now or never. It is not out of delusion for me to stand up as an independent. The sole purpose for politics must be to serve the people. But Singapore cannot continue to be governed like this with entrenched interests stuck in the upper echelon of our society, comprising rich and connected bureaucrats, general doctors, surrounded by their close friends and relatives. Besides PAP's aristocracy, Parliament must have people of different life experiences to prevent blindsided groupthink. Fellow Pioneer voters, with 4 more seats for the new Parliament, 1 out of 4 for me will not upset PAP's 75% dominance, but the quality of the Parliament will be changed forever. the choice for you is simple. Choose either the same old stuck and stuck up PAP or the refreshing alternatives. Cast aside PAP and compare the two other fresh offer. I'm sure you are smart enough to know the better choice is me. Dear Pioneer voters, when the chumps are not around, Chiang must stand out and be counted. It's time for you to demand immediate change. So I can help former MP Mr. Cedric Foo to kickstart the MRT train sound barrier, which he promised the Pioneers resident many years ago. As Lee Kuan Yew has said, there will come a time when people will say, look, let's try the other side. The time is now. Without competition, there will be no progress. The change will begin now or never. Regardless of who, I will listen and serve you wholeheartedly. Sila undi saya terima kasih. Aku vote Nandri. 谢谢，请投我一次票。Let's all stand up and be counted. Vote the third force. Vote for change. Vote me.
So yeah, that was what happened online just now. I think there were some comments on what I'm drinking, is it? Yeah, I'm drinking cooling things, you know, because recently very late, work from morning to night, so I need to drink cooling things. Otherwise, we'll fall sick, okay? Any more shout out? Nothing, huh? Oh, I heard what? They miss this show, or what? Or they love this show? Or they love it. I don't know whether true or not. I'm quite sure it's a Mothership stuff, but okay. My food. Shout out to my food. I cut my nails today, so should be quite clean. Anyway, as you know, as I said many times already throughout this show, this G is very different. So virtual rallies, live debate, political, so long, party political broadcast, constituency political broadcast. A lot of G is happening online. So have you ever wondered how do the older folks, consume all this information, or do they even have access to, Facebook or YouTube or Google? So, but what do they think about this GE? As usual, Mothership hits the streets.
Online, who want to see? Young people also don't want to see.
Welcome to Mothership Hits the Streets. It is close to the end of the campaigning period for GE2020, and most of the action has taken place online. Each day, there are multiple online rallies by the various parties, both in the form of videos and live streams. Candidates' presence on social media has also increased as a way to reach out to the younger generation.
For older people who aren't as savvy on social media, how are they coping with getting all the information online?
So where do you get your election updates from?
电视，在电视上，电视上看比较多。
报纸也有看，我每次买新闻看报纸的。
Then the old people, if they don't have the phone, they have to look at the TV or hear from friends or what. So I'm waiting for the letter to come in. That is my proper way. Because from younger days, we all receive is a letter. Once letter means there is an election.
Are you on Facebook by any chance?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook also. Because I also look at Google.
我有
Facebook 啊？
有。
你有用 Facebook 看新闻？
我新闻很少看的。
No, hardly I don't use the internet. All this is consume money, you see, all this. Basically, the very simple, the basic one, like WhatsApp and all this is that so frequently used,
Facebook 有 ，Facebook 我有看，我只是会看，我不会怎么样去刀啊是什么这些不会。
You think TV the news enough or not?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Because why they talk little bit only. Everybody with the opponent just talk how many minutes.
不相差的很什么啦，因为太过啰嗦也是很闲。
一样啦，不是跟那个新闻报的差不多一样的。
So do you know that there are online rallies now?
Yes, I know.
机会制。
But I believe online is more better because we don't have to go the place, just press the button. Yeah, they know. But most of them no interest to see because online, who want to see? Young people also don't want to see.
So how is it different now that rallies are online?
People will say this and say that, making the thing very complex.
Online
you see.
is too complex, too much information.
Yes.
Now it's this what we call this 19, the disease. You want to stand for election, you want to make place where you can talk and people come and listen. But no.
昨天我看到那个水顺前讲一些话，很多话讲很久，差不多10分钟这样。
So now that a lot more is happening online, do you feel like you're missing out by not being online?
Yeah, I don't really use online because sometimes I don't trust online so much. Because got a lot of scams, so I really worried that way. So I prefer, if government give me the paper, I more trust.
Because I still get from the newspapers and the television, the CNN news and also I can still get.
不会啦，我不会啦，因为我这都没有时间了，所以就不会去找这些网上的东西来看。
Most of the people we spoke to know that there are online rallies. However, they don't use social media as their main source of news because they don't really see the need to. So, vote wisely, yeah?
Yeah, so someone asked me to shout out to these two. So I brought them down. Sorry, what's his name again? Shuki and Goya. Yes. They will accompany me tonight. Alright, okay, moving on. In this G, I think most of you should know that PAPS Iswaran and PSP Tan Cheng Bok will, go head on at West Coast GRC. So we recently caught up with both of them and in our straight to the point video series. Here's a snippet.
I think I'm quite blessed. I'm quite lucky because I was there for 26 years, so I do make a lot of friends. Of course, many of them have passed away. I'm so sad to hear that. But if you surprise, some of the chaps in the kindergarten do recall that I gave them, certificates and so on and forth. During my presidential election, when I went to Ayer Rajah, I was swarmed, man. I was like a film star like that. Wow, so scary. But the contact is still there.
I would say it's also been a very interesting journey for me from the point of view of my emotional connection with the people. Because, when you've been in a place for that long, those you presented kindergarten certificates to, they are now graduates and they're working, they may even have kids of their own. And so it's a wonderful sort of circle of life kind of experience. So I think I've literally seen a major transition in West Coast. In many ways, it's also mirrored my own life because, I entered when I just got married. I've had children. My children are now, adults or going to be adults soon, and so on. So I think it's been a very transformative, but also a very meaningful journey in my experience.
So the lesson I learned watching these two videos is West Coast people memory very good. Can remember who gave them their kindergarten cert. Can't even remember what I had for lunch. So if you want to watch our full videos, please go on to our platforms. Okay? Yeah, our platform got a lot of videos. So we also just posted our 20 questions interview with Paul Tambera. Fun fact, he can speak Chinese quite well. Here's proof.
我在学校学华语是第二语文，但是我现在已经忘记了很多，只是普通跟病人讲话。所以，假如你有什么毛病，我可以问一下你的病情，其他的我跟你讲，我完全忘记了。
COVID-19 news. MOH has preliminarily confirmed 157 new cases of COVID-19 infection as of 12 p.m., of which 12 are Singaporeans/PR. This brings the total number of cases to 45,140. So, we are now more than 2 weeks into phase 2. People have been going out, visiting friends, families, in their homes. So, you may be wondering, do we need to wear masks in our friends' home or not? Here's what Health Minister Gan Kim Yong said today.
Let me put it this way. It is very difficult for the government to enforce what goes on within your own household. So I think if you need to remove your mask, it's very difficult for us to impose and say you should not, otherwise I'm going to penalize you or send you a summon. But the key consideration is whether you need to protect your seniors. If you are in the household of the seniors, you can either keep your mask on if you are going to be very close to her or him, or you are going to administer him, take care of him, put a mask on because you are not sure whether you yourself are infected. But if you are just having a conversation in the living room, you have sufficient safe distance, you want to remove your mask so that your seniors can recognize you, you want to have face-to-face contact, I think that's fine too. But at the same time, even as you visit your seniors' homes, make sure you observe personal hygiene. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. If you are sick, if you have a sneeze and so on, please avoid visiting your seniors. I think do the commonsensical thing. The key focus is really to protect the seniors in your household, in your family. I think with that as a starting point, most people will know what to do, how to protect the seniors. Do the practical thing, and I'm sure we are not about to enter your house and to check on you and to audit you and to issue summons to you. Yeah, so I think just do the sensible thing with the focus of protecting the seniors in your family.
So, at the same press conference, Professor Kenneth Mark and Minister Lawrence Wong also addressed some comments on social media, like, whether Singapore will go back to phase 1 after GE. I also don't know. Here's what they said.
There's been some talk, I understand, in the social media about how after elections we're going to clamp down and go back down to phase 1, we'll lock down again. And indeed, at this point in time, we continue to keep a close watch on the community, but we don't have actively plans to say that immediately after the elections we're going to quickly go back into phase 1. That's not the case. But we are working on our contingencies. We are mindful that we may see clusters emerging in various places. We do not want to be complacent, and as a result, we are working on our responses should any of these scenarios bear fruit. So it's always important for us to be prepared for the worst, to be happy if that doesn't occur, to be prepared for these contingencies, but we don't want to overreact. At this point in time, we continue to allow for a safe resumption of services in the community, but that requires all of us in the community to do our part, to maintain our discipline, to actively practice safe distancing measures, to protect each and every one of us.
Can I just add one very quick point that, we certainly cannot rule out having to impose additional restrictions or even to have to, put in place another nationwide circuit breaker down the road. No one can rule out that possibility. Countries that have exited from their lockdowns have had to reimpose lockdowns. You've seen this experience elsewhere too. But we will try very hard not to have to go down that path, and we are able to do so because we now have an expanded toolkit of control measures. And that's what we've been building up over these past few months, right? An expanded toolkit that includes expanded testing capacity and the ability to take more targeted as well as swifter, faster actions, so that, as we've described, this way of going about our management of the infection, whenever we see a case, we quickly go in, we cast a wider net around that area, and we might very well have to do extensive sweeps or swab testing around that area. We might have to do an extensive quarantine around that area of the people who have been in contact, or we might even have to do a localized restriction measure for that particular area if there is a cluster in that area. So these are an expanded range of toolkits that we now have in place because we have built up the capacity over the past few months in terms of contact tracing, in terms of testing, in terms of the new operations that we are doing now. And hopefully with all of these measures, we can control the infection effectively without having to impose another nationwide circuit breaker.
So, before I head into our last segment, I was being told to plug sponsorship deals again. So, as you can see, there are a lot of space here. We have a very big table. You can put our products. A side table here. You can change our name also for you. Your name could be here if you want. Like how they they rebrand the football stadiums, yeah, also can. We can change the name also. Okay, so on to our last segment. We're going to talk about a song, a Hokkien song, in fact, which you may have heard politicians singing it, you know. So what song you all know? Never mind. Today, right, Senior Minister Taman mentioned it in his e-rally lah. So here's what he said, or did he sing it?
You know, if you think of the most popular Hokkien song over the decades, maybe even today, Ai Pia, Chia E Ia. The most interesting ditty within the song. What happens in life is determined 30% by the will of the heavens and 70% by hard work, or in those days, bitter hard struggle. 30% determined by the heavens, 70% by bitter hard work. I think we should retain a social ethos where people work hard for themselves, take responsibility, and take pride in standing on their own feet. But you can't rely on the heavens. You can't leave people to fend for themselves either. That 30% has to be community. We have to take collective responsibility for each other. Starting with Kids Start, starting when the kids are very young in the same neighborhood, take an interest and find ways of supporting them, all the way to our silver years. We have to take more responsibility for each other.
Wow, still got analysis. No wonder Starman, okay? Okay, very late already. Before we go, right, if you don't believe me, here's some Ai Pia Jia Ya by some politicians. Please enjoy. I'm not going to sing it, haha, you think I'm going to sing, right? But before I end the show, tomorrow is the last edition already of the Sibeh show. So ask your friends or family and go and watch lah, because it's the last time you'll see me already, okay? Alright, good night.